Well, I got to tell you, as I was walking through the Greek theater, number one, these are hallowed grounds. You
Yes,
think of all
they
the
are.
stars that have performed here. For you guys to be here, and I saw tour buses and semis, and there you guys are plastered across the side. You guys have gone into that rarefied air of superstars, and your worlds have changed so much. Yet, you're the same people that you always were.
Yes, I believe it was, wasn't it the Allman Brothers who said, basically everybody is saying that I've changed, but, really they're the ones
They
that have
did. They
changed.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are several actually musicians who have written that song numerous times. But, yeah, our lives have changed, but I don't think that we change any more than anyone else changes throughout the course of a lifetime. It just so happens that our changes are documented on television or somehow possibly feel under the magnifying glass of what is fame. But in reality, everybody changes throughout their lives in one way or another. We're in different circumstances. We go through relationships. We have children. We go back to school. We change jobs. Whatever it may be, and we have losses and all of those things. I think ours is just a bit magnified under that big, fame monster, as Lady Gaga, my friend Lady, would say.
Have you ever met her?
No, I wish, please.
We just call her L.
LGG?
Yeah, LGG.
each,
What's up, LG?
each of you have become style icons, which is very interesting.
That's fun.
I like this.
Within this genre. But, Jennifer, you're very well known for your tastes. You have this very a cool style about you. And Christian has also got a very cool style to
I
him.
need a haberdashery at this point.
You do
Right,
need a
like the
haberdashery.
hats.
But, you guys, do you feel that that's something you live up to? I mean, when even just going out in public, because you talk about being under the microscope.
Yeah. I mean, I don't take myself really seriously, and I really try to maintain what is a normal life. I don't feel like I have to go out with an entourage and fully made up. And actually, it contributes to some anonymity and privacy because people typically do expect you to go out as if you're Beyonce every day.
Sure.
And I don't do that. So I can go about my life and really have some anonymity and some privacy because of that. I mean, I love clothes and I love fashion and I love the art of that and I love using that as expression for where I am that day or that season or that award show. It's definitely a part of self-expression, but I don't, do it in a way that draws attention.
So with you being a little more anonymous when you go out, I'm sure that you must have had people come and say, you know who you look like?
People, that's what I get all the time, and it's my favorite. The people don't say.
You
They
even
typically
sound
don't
a little
say,
like her.
Are you?
Whenever I'm paying for gas, it always happens. They're like, hey, does anybody ever tell you look like that guy from Sugarland? I'm like, yeah, they tell me that a lot.
All the time.
And do
That's
you
what
ever,
I say.
say, well, that's actually me?
Well, as long as you're paying with cash, you get away with it.
Yeah, no. I don't.
But if you flip that credit card out, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
I don't say it's actually me unless they ask, and I won't tell a lie. If they say, "Are
Right.
you?" I'll say yes, but I
That's
don't
very interesting.
offer it.
You know what you just said, Christian, unless you whip out that credit card, you never actually, but yeah, I guess there is a credit card that says Christian Bush or Jennifer Nettles.
Yeah. I mean, I was just at, this is a lot of disclosure, but I was just at Comic-Con, and I was down at one of the booths, right? So
Right.
I'm standing in a place very anonymous, just going through, another guy, looking around, and I was buying something. It was a book or something, and I had just run out of cash. And, of course, Comic-Con, you can buy with plastic. You can probably buy with gold or something there.
Like Vegas.
Yeah, and so I put down a credit card, and the guy ran the credit card, and he gave it to me, and he's like, "Thank you," and I'm signing, and he's looking at it to check the signature to make sure it's you.
Right, right.
And then he looks up, and then he looks up again, and he looks back down, and he looks back at me. He's like, "Huh." So I was at your show last night.
Really?
And I was like, "Okay, this is great." First of all, you're at Comic-Con too.
Sure.
And you were at the show last night.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
we are one of same feather. And secondly, you just only figured it out from that.
Your manager was just kind enough to speak with us, Gail Gelman, and her cell phone rang in the middle of it, and it was Vonda Shepard, who apparently is
yeah.
coming to the show tonight. Do you guys, when you're up on stage, do you look out and you see famous faces in the crowd?
You know, sometimes we just did the Calgary Stampede, and we're lucky enough there. Vince Vaughn was there.
Really?
Yes, and so that's always fun because Christian does a guitar giveaway, you know, during the shows, and we have in our ear monitors, there are certain microphones that we have that only we can hear,
Yes.
so that other people in the audience.
For better or worse?
Yes, and someone was saying it through over the ear monitors, please give it to Vince Vaughn. Please give it to Vince Vaughn.
And I hadn't seen Vince yet, so I was like, are they making a joke? Is there some sort of like movie reference that I'm not understanding that's going on within the band? And then as I took it out and I went back and I gave it back, gave it to a kid in the back of the Calgary arena there, and I came back and passed him on the side stage. On the way back. I was like,
Wait a minute, he really is
that's
here.
what y'all were talking about. There's Vince Vaughn.
So people get starstruck when they are around you. I mean, you see them get nervous, probably start to tear up because your music has meant so much to them. You remember, I guess, what that was like. Wasn't that long ago, I'm sure, that you probably met people that you were starstruck with.
Still
you
I
know
am.
what that's like.
But although I'm not one of those people that I've never been in a fan club, or I've never asked to, you know, before I did this job at this level, I never wanted to get meet and greet or anything like that. I get really nervous about that. I don't know, for whatever reason. So yeah, I'll be starstruck when I actually come across someone at an award show, or definitely at our shows. Although when they're at your show, it's also kind of fun too, because then it feels a little more comfortable.
Yeah, because it's your territory.
Yeah, for sure.
Who have you been most starstruck with?
Oh wow, I don't know. I mean, I Paul McCartney, Bono, James Taylor. I mean, like pretty
I remember
much
when they all
everybody.
went to dinner with me one time.
Right?
Yeah.
Funny story.
And can I ask you one last question? I want to ask you about a song.
Please.
I want to go back on one of your earlier albums. Tell me about a song that I absolutely love.
Through here, okay.
One Blue Sky.
Oh yeah, what a great song. That song actually we wrote with Lisa Carver, a songwriter out of Nashville, in a hotel room, and it began as a song that Christian had done. You remember a piece that you
I
had
had
done?
pieces of it before.
Little Annie Vickers. Is that an actual
Yes.
person?
No, Vickers is a family name that is huge in my hometown.
Okay.
But Annie Vickers, we try to protect the innocent and use fake names.
Slightly
Yeah.
enough to make sure that it's all right. But that song was really interesting. I remember that day we came in and we sat down and we knew we were going to write. And you said, I really want to write something that means something today. And I was like, all right, well, I had this piece of a thing that, you know, I remember being moved at some point that there was some civil engineers that were going to flood part of the Mississippi based on the fact that the floodwaters were gathering somewhere else, so that they were broadcasting from a town. This was years and years ago, but it was just on TV. It was a town called Prairie du Roche, and they were going to flood the town in order to save another town. Right? And it was so moving. It was such a weird thing, and it was just a snippet in between one news story to the next. And I thought, well, that's a strange story. I wonder how you write a song about something like that. And then it hibernated for I don't know how many years. And we pulled it out that day, and we started, and then you were like, we're going to do this.
Christian has an interesting process. First of all, he has like 40 million journals with snippets of pieces of things written in all that. Me, I have one journal. It's in chronological order. It's super Virgo, type A personality, like really uptight. He has like 40,000 journals with snippets of things, ghosts of songs past. Yeah. But it's fun because if we're sitting somewhere and we don't have anything we're working on specifically, or we haven't come in, either of us, with a new idea, he'll reach into the pouch, you know, and pull out this snippet of a song like One Blue Sky ended up, and that becomes an inspiration point, which is fun.
Yeah. I think that song should have been a single.
Thank you.
I love.
We think they should all be singles, but you know.
I do. I love that song. I love that you love that song. I love the song because of all of its different, the way it paints a picture. You know, they'll dig out the road, and you know, it's very specific in its and how it paints the word hope.
So good to see you,
We
Jennifer
love
and
you
Christian.
guys. Thanks for listening throughout the night, all of you night owls and vampires.